Hey everybody, hopefully you can hear me. If you're catching the replay, my name is Jessica. I am a corporate recruiter, and in today's live chat, we are going to be talking about a couple of different skills that I foresee that will be in demand for 2022 and probably beyond 2022, to be honest. So let's jump into it. I am going to be highlighting some specific areas. First will be marketing, and then I will talk about human resources and recruiting, which is the industry I am in, of course. And then we'll talk about technology, because if you're familiar with my channel at all, you know that I've worked primarily as a technical recruiter for the most part of my career. So we will jump into it. I do want to note towards the end just how you can actually find out what some of the largest companies are looking for. Just a tip that I don't think most people think about, so I am going to leave that for the end. So let's jump into talking about marketing, and hopefully you can hear me okay and the audio is all good. Hey Teddy, welcome. Nice to see you, Teddy. Shout out to my member, King of Kill, and E Dunlap. Welcome in. Nice to see you. Hopefully you had a nice New Year's, E Dunlap. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the first thing, and let me highlight this and pull it back up. So marketing. Marketing, what are some of the things in terms of marketing that are going to be in demand in 2022? The first one is SEO, or search engine optimization. The reason I placed this one at the very top is because I have spent a lot of time searching for people with skills in search engine optimization. And there's a couple different quadrants, I would say, or spaces of SEO. And one is going to be SEO writing. So people that can really dig into keyword research. They can dig into Google Analytics. They can find the trending keywords or the words that are going to be on trend that need to be in written content. So if you're going on to some of these online magazines, if you're going to Allure, or you're going to Cosmo, or you're going to go to, I don't know, think of some different magazine brands, Time Magazine, right? They are going to have folks that are specifically looking at SEO, and they're using different tools. They may be using Screaming Frog, definitely Google Analytics. There's a ton of different tools that folks are using to dig into the keywords that are going to trend, because that traction is what brings in the money. That's what brings in the ads. They need viewers. They need viewers, whether it's written content online or if it's video content. So that is from the written standpoint or editorial standpoint. Jobs that I have been searching for a lot and recruiting a lot in. That's going to continue, because what do people want? They want to trend. They want to get those ad dollars. The other key part of SEO is going to be those folks that are very technical. And if you have both of the skills, you have the writing or editorial background and the technical skills, that's even better. But there's so many aspects of SEO that are more technical behind the scenes that require some deeper understanding that are going to be trending in 2022. So SEO is not going anywhere. That is going to be a very much in demand job. Thank you, King of Kill. Thanks, Teddy, for letting me know you could hear me. Hello, Wellness with Frugal Mama. Welcome. Nice to see you. And hello, Edward. Thank you for being here. You'll be my moderator for the evening while I'm on here. Okay, so that is the first one. The next one that I want to bring up is actually going to be digital or social marketing. And this you can kind of go down the rabbit hole with this one, but people that can understand marketing from a social media standpoint. And the reason I bring this one up is because I have needed to search for a lot of marketing strategists and also people that really understand a variety of social platforms. So I think for someone that has a niche space, like you're focused on Facebook, you're focused on YouTube, there's going to be demand for you. There's also going to be a demand for folks that can focus on TikTok and know how to trend there. They know how to market different businesses in these spaces and develop an actual strategy. So when I say marketing, I'm really talking about marketing strategy, not just, you're kind of run the mill, everyone's saying they're a social marketer. No. Can you build a company or a brand strategy and plan out for them how they're going to get growth, right? How they're going to get in front of 20 million people, etc. How they're going to get sales. So we really need that talent. The next one that I want to highlight, and under marketing, I'm not going too in depth just because I have a class and I can't stay on here too long, but I do want to highlight the analytics portion of the strategy. So being able to look at analytics and not just say, oh, this is what we did, your articles trended over the last quarter. No, you need to understand the why, and then what can we do with this data to turn into sales. So you're kind of that in between. The next thing follows right in line with SEO and social marketing is you're going to see companies like your Google, your Microsoft, they're going to talk about growth strategy. They may even put that in their title. I've seen some in the title for, in particular, Google, where they need growth strategists. So these are going to be the people responsible for getting more growth for companies. The next one I want to point out is e-commerce, which I think everyone knows at this point, e-commerce is here to stay. So actually having an understanding there, if you want to be in the marketing space, e-commerce is going to continue to be in demand. The next one, user behavior research. So understanding what people are doing online, what gets people to click a buy now button, what gets people to click on a video, what gets people to click on an article, understanding those behaviors. And a lot of this will fall into analytics, but also doing a lot of research and understanding research, quantitative and qualitative research. Lastly, Google Analytics. I didn't put Google on there, but basically Google Analytics and other analytics, and being able to overall turn analytics into results. How can we get results? Because companies have a lot of data. We have a lot of information, but leadership, they don't know what to do with the information. Okay, great. These numbers look good. Now what? What do we need to do? How do we get growth? So people that can understand the analytics, and then also people that can actually make it into something usable, whether that is making it visually appealing where people can understand at a high level the actual data you're putting in front of them and what it means to the business, or people that can translate the analytics into an actual plan to meet business needs. So that's what we're talking about there. All right, so I think I'm gonna move on with that one. I think we're all good there. Let me check out the chat box. Hey, KB, shout out to another member. What is up? How are you? And yes, please do hit the like button. You guys know I'm so bad about, I need to put like a little post-it note or something that says like button, like the video. But thank you for doing that. Thank you, Edward, for putting that in the comments. Okay. So the next one I want to talk about is my space. Hey, HR and recruiting, or human resources and recruiting. And I put them together, although they are different technically, but a lot of these skills are going to align with the other. And I know a lot of people like me have moved into different aspects of recruiting and HR within their career. So recruiters will become HR generalists or HR business partners. HR generalists will sometimes go into recruiting, but a lot of people in the HR space may start out their careers in recruiting. And recruitment and HR managers, we're working together most of the time. So the ones I want to point out here are candidate experience in customer relationship management, which is CRM there. This is going to be really crucial. And again, looking at the top companies, this is how I found this, and also using my own experience. But you will see as you look for jobs at Google, Microsoft, Facebook or Meta. They are going to list, they need people that can actually have experience and have skills with building a good candidate experience and customer relationship management. Because if you think about it, with recruiting, with HR, with this space, you are coming into contact with so many people. And as a recruiter, a lot of time you are or may be the only person someone may come into contact with from a company. So you are essentially the brand ambassador a lot of the time. So how do you actually keep those relationships going, build on those relationships, and really manage the relationship to, if the person doesn't become hired necessarily, they're still going to have a really good, I guess, taste in their mouth for the company. They're still going to be a consumer of the company. So for example, at Nestle Purina, that was a really big, crucial part of our job, was to make sure that we were ensuring that folks had a good candidate experience, and more companies are looking for that skill set. The next thing I want to highlight is recruitment sourcing. So some recruiters have had the scenario where they could just come in, they're managing their applicant tracking system, they're getting the applicants, and they're managing their applicant pool. So this is not necessarily the space that we're really moving into. More and more companies are going to want recruiters that are going to find the talent, whether they are working in an agency or if they're at a company, because typically the company recruiters may not have to do as much sourcing, or some of them don't really have to do sourcing or directly cold calling or finding talent outside of those folks that are applying. But this is going to become more and more needed with companies, and they're going to want people that can source talent. A lot of large companies too will have two different buckets. They will have recruiters and they will have sourcers. The sourcers are the ones that are finding, practically just churning out candidates, finding the right people to bring them in, so we can figure out if they're a match for a job or not. So that's going to be huge for the person that is a recruiter. And hey, Tal Dahl, hello, Kronos. For the person that's a recruiter and they have not done a lot of sourcing, you're going to find that that's going to be more and more asked for. The next thing, going back to the idea of a recruiter versus a sourcer in my HR world, right? The recruiters, it's going to be even more crucial to get closers. That's what companies are going to want. They want to know your experiences closing out a deal. When I say a deal, I just mean making a right match for a company, right? So you're making this great match for a company. You're sealing a deal for a candidate and a hiring manager and hiring team to essentially go into this partnership together and get this hired, get this person hired, get everyone happy. So you're going to need to have that experience to really close out candidates. It can sound like sales, but it comes back to candidate experience, customer relationship management as well, and understanding people's motivations and a lot of different skill sets under that. So that's what I'm going to say about that one. The next one is business acumen, and this is going to include your HR professionals, your recruiters. I would even say on the next slide, I'm going to talk about technology, but I would include that there too, although I didn't on the slide. But business acumen, understanding the needs of the business, is going to be more and more crucial. Now, the HR space has in the past gotten the rap for being more administrative. Like, you're just taking care of the paperwork. You're just getting people in the door. You're just making sure people's I-9s and forms are complete, right? Well, we've shifted to a space where more and more HR is going to be more aligned with leadership and making sure that we're reaching business goals from not only a people standpoint, but also getting involved in other areas like leadership training and leadership counseling, and really counseling managers and leadership on what they need to do to instill more growth in the company, for example. because when you look at a business, the people are going to be very important. And so if we can't get that aspect right, we can't get HR to understand what the business needs are, you can't really be successful. So really understanding the business, understanding numbers, understanding analytics, all of that. So that's going to be more important. Other thing here is people don't like this, but employee relations, you have someone coming to you, they have an issue with Susie. Susie has an issue with Tom. Shakita has an issue with Cindy. We got to get them to work together, get this work done, right? That is more along the lines of employee relations. Jimmy over there smells funny. I can't work in these conditions. Getting that stuff all sorted out fall under the line of employee relations. Also, things like, obviously managing the employees from I would say, retention standpoint, but then also things like layoffs that happen. That also falls under the employee relations bucket. Next is going to be communication. Communication is going to be important for all of these jobs, even more so. So you may find in interviews and stuff that you may get more questions around how you've been able to communicate effectively, especially right now because we have been in this remote capacity for a while. So we need effective communicators. And I've heard this multiple times from hiring teams. I need people that are willing to not just send an email, not just send a Slack message, not just send a Microsoft Teams message, but actually get on the phone, get on a video call, right? That is communication, right? So that is going to be very much needed. Amy, you're not late. You are welcome in. I've just started maybe 5 minutes ago. Well, maybe 10 minutes ago. Welcome in. All right. So next thing I want to talk about, and this is going to be the last point on this slide, is stakeholder management, right? I'm going to bring myself up to talk about this one. So this is going to be more and more important for recruiters and HR folks because you're finding that you have to deal with more and more people. If you didn't see my video about, why you should not become a recruiter, I explain more about how many people we are interacting with. And for HR professionals, HR business partners, they're taking on more and more teams. And we're going to see this more, that they have to navigate, right? They have to deal with, okay, from a recruiter standpoint, I'm managing the relationship between my hiring managers, but I have multiple hiring managers. Maybe I have 10 hiring managers at a time. Maybe I have 15 hiring managers at a time. I'm also managing relationships with different HR professionals who are managing these different teams, right? And their employees within their group. So let's say it's an accounting department. Well, Cindy over here manages the accounting department. So all their issues, they go to Cindy. And if they're hiring people, well, I have to work with Cindy to make sure she understands what's going on. She has to work with me so I understand what's going on if there's any changes. I am reporting up to my management. I'm reporting out to others on my team. So a lot of different stakeholders involved. And so you're going to need really good communication, but companies are looking for people that can show that they have had experience really managing different stakeholders. And it may also include managing different levels of stakeholders, right? So have you worked with leaders of teams? Have you worked with the executive suite? Have you, can you provide examples of doing that successfully and managing multiple people at a time? So, and when I say management, I'm not talking about people management. I'm just talking about, kind of managing to and communicating with and making sure that people know what they need to know, they're doing what they need to do, and they understand what you're doing, and you're working together to actually make things happen within a company. So that's what I mean when I say that. Let me check out the chat a little bit, and then we're going to move on to tech. I want to just make sure I didn't miss anything. Hey, Diamond, how are you? I didn't say that earlier. Oh, I have no idea what that means. I think I've seen you before, but yeah, I have no idea what you're saying. No idea what you're saying there. All right, so I'm going to move to the last point here. And this is technology. And again, these are going to be very much high level. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of these, but it should give you some idea of 2022. And then we're going to look at how I generally get a better sense of what companies or what is going to be in demand. What are companies looking for in the new year? So I know what skills I need to have. But technology, thinking about this, there's so much change happening with technology. These are just a couple of things, but there's so much. I just couldn't fit everything on a slide, and I feel like I need to do a video on its own with technology, to be honest. But let's talk about the couple here. So we know that we're living in this virtual space more and more. So augmented reality is going to be more important. I put up here computer vision and machine learning because, in particular, Google has multiple job descriptions where they are asking for that experience, right? So these are going to be the folks that have some education and have some experience within this space. So if you're in the tech space and you're interested in augmented reality, get on it, because you're going to be able to see that your job is going to be very much in demand in 2022 and beyond. The next one, very similar, robotics and automation. We know that these things are coming, digital factories. We've got robotics in the healthcare space as well. We've got robotics even in automation, even in things like delivery, like just your generic pizza delivery. It's all going to change. So robotics and automation is becoming more and more important. So if you are in a technology space, you have any interest, this is going to be in demand. Program management and project management. Now, this one is something that I see as being a space that most people can move into. If you're someone that has an understanding of tech or can get an understanding of tech, and you have really good skills with communication, you can see a project from beginning to end, and you have that experience, getting people motivated to work on a project, right? To stay on a project, communicating with everyone, making sure people know exactly what they need to do, which it sounds very simple, but when you have these really large projects or you have multiple small projects, it can be tough to keep so many people aligned on what they're actually supposed to be doing. I don't know if you've ever had the experience of, you go to a meeting and, you have like a 30-minute meeting. Sounds like everyone, they all know what they're supposed to be doing, right? I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Jim over there knows what he's supposed to be doing. Cindy over here knows what she's supposed to be doing. You leave the meeting, everyone's, all good. So next week we're going to come back and everyone will know what they're supposed to be doing. You come back to the meeting, right? Jim, did you do this? Nope. Oh, I was supposed to do that? Cindy, oh, you were supposed to do this last time. Oh, no, I'm behind. I'm working on it. So that is why program management, project managers are important, because they're the ones keeping all of that together, making sure people are on it, using tools like, I know at the company I'm at right now, we use Airtable a lot, using different tools and systems to make sure that things flow easy for people and we can get things done. We know where folks are at on different projects. And if we don't know, you can find out and you can get us all together and make sure that these projects actually hit deadline, because when these projects get dragged out and dragged out and dragged out, a lot of times these companies are losing money. So this is an important skill set for people to have, to actually be able to use tools for project management, for communication, and to have success examples that you can talk about. That's going to be very much in demand. And again, I'm using Microsoft and I'm using Google for this one. I see multiple jobs for them in this space. Next one, data analytics. I've talked about so much on this channel. You're probably tired of me talking about it, but when I worked at Nestle Purina, oh my gosh, there was such a push to find folks that had the understanding and the experience in data analytics. Even the education was crucial, because a lot of companies have all of this data, What do you do with this data? How do you manage the data, right? How do you turn it into something usable? Well, that's going to be very much important from 2022 and beyond. Next one, very quickly, technical leadership. I'm not seeing a ton of jobs now. I did see a job under Google that specifically asked for technical leadership. I included this one because I know multiple hiring managers and multiple executives that have asked for this skill set. So when I say technical leadership, I mean people that either they have the technical acumen, they have the technical background. They can talk to development teams. They understand technology. They understand how things work. They understand what the process is to build a platform, beginning to end. They understand systems, right? But they also have really good people leadership skills. This is something that's missing because you're not generally seeing these two tied together. You have folks that are very technical, couldn't manage people if their life depended on it, couldn't do it. But you also have people that can lead people. They're great with people. They can motivate folks. They can get folks running and on a system and having people retained in a company and everything's going well. But they don't understand technology at all. So if you have skills where you can be a people leader and you're a good people leader, I don't mean someone that's, they think they're good with people, but really their people all hate them or they're not doing the work. No, I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about people that really have solid people leadership skills, can connect with people, understand their motivations, can understand and get them to a place where they're thriving in a workplace. And people that understand technologies, can see technical projects through from a high level. That skill set is going to be very much needed in 2022 and beyond because it's lacking. Communication in a lot of tech spaces are lacking. I've heard this many times. So that is going to summarize technology for me right now. There's a couple other places I could probably go with that, but that's what I want to highlight. Amy says, listening to the tech field info. Good. And let me know if you are seeing anything different. Obviously, I want this to be informative, but I also want, if you have additional insight, share it. You never know who it could help. Edward is saying, I have a feeling that robotics and automation is going to soar. Oh, yes, because robotics and automation is hitting like every industry. Like I didn't really think healthcare would have been, like years ago, I would not have thought robotics and automation was going to change the healthcare industry. It's changing. Like it is happening so fast. It's wild. Very good insight, Edward. I am neither of those, I guess. Enough says. It's okay because I do want to highlight some other skills. There's just not enough time to do everything on here. But there's so many different spaces. So if you have a specific industry that you want me to dig into and make a video and say, what's in demand, there's going to be more in demand skills than this. But under marketing, HR, recruiting, and technology, these are some of the main ones. Those are some of the main ones that your big companies are looking for. Hey, Burns, welcome. Nice to see you. I'm just kind of wrapping up here. But I do want to say, so let's look at how you can figure out for yourself. So let's say you're sitting here, you're EDUNLAP. You're saying, okay, I'm neither of these. So, what's in demand for me? What skills do I need? Think about your large companies, right? Think about Apple, Google, Facebook. Who are the other ones? Meta or Facebook, your big media companies, your telecom companies, Verizon, AT&T. Think about people in your industry. Who are the leaders in your industry? And then what you're going to do is you actually need to just sit down, take the time to look at their website, look at their careers page, and look at what they're actually asking for. Because a lot of the times, what's on some of these job sites and career sites, it's not necessarily what's available right now, but you can look at these sites and see, okay, this is where things are going. This is what companies really want. even if the market is saying there aren't a lot of people with this skill set. What that's going to tell you is you need to learn the skill set, because you're going to be the top percent. You're going to be those preferred candidates. So everyone in this bucket, they're all developers, right? But maybe you have a specialized skill set that this company wants. So, for example, if you're looking at, let me see if I pull this up right. So if you're looking at Google, so this is Google's careers page, right? You can go in, they have so many jobs. And so I was talking about tech, I talked about recruiting and HR and some of the skills that are going to be most needed. You go in and select what you want. I always forget that they own Fitbit. Oh, that hurt me. I bought shares in Fitbit, and Fitbit got me good. I was burned by Fitbit. Oh, anyway, so you can look and see all of the different job descriptions that they have. And what you're going to want to do if you expand one of these, and this happens to be a system technical program manager, augmented reality, you want to look at not just the qualifications. So this is the minimum qualifications: bachelor's degree or equivalent practical experience, 10 years of experience in program management, that is a lot, and experience developing and launching consumer electronic products. But look at the preferred qualifications. So let's say you're like, oh, I don't have 10 years of experience in program management, I have 5. Well, if you have an MBA, if you have experience in design working, if you have experience working across a cross-functional team, right? If you have had experience in some of these areas, architecture, design, implementation, and testing, that may put you ahead of someone that has 10 years of just program management, but they don't have anything else. Hopefully you get what I'm saying there. You see a robotics and automation job. So they have their minimum qualifications, and then they have their preferred qualifications. So this can help you if you just go to find 5 companies that are the industry leaders. They are the ones that most other companies are following. They're looking at to say, oh, what are they doing? Those are the ones that you want to look at. Look at what they are actually looking for. What are the preferred, not the minimum qualifications, but the preferred qualifications of what they're looking for. That can sometimes tell you in your industry what skills you need to learn. So that's just a quick tip. If you're not doing that already, it can be something to do even if you are in a job right now, just to kind of keep you on a track where you're not feeling stagnant, or you're not feeling like, oh, I don't know if I have, marketable skills. Well, you can find out if you have marketable skills by looking at some of your top industry companies and then highlighting what are those preferred skills that they're looking for whatever your industry is. And you could do this for, again, recruiting, HR, their preferred skills that they're looking for in most job application that you will see. Alrighty, so I'm gonna close this out. I hope this is helpful. If it was helpful, let me know in the chat here, or leave me a comment after this video does post. I do want to hear from you. If it is helpful, I'm happy to do another video. And if there's a skill set or an industry that I didn't get to, please just let me know so I can make another video, whether it's a pre-recorded video or a live chat. I'm happy to do that, because I do want people to be prepared for 2022. And this is something that I do myself. So how I actually decided to continue into recruiting is because I had an experience where I was laid off. I moved into learning and development. And learning and development was a lot of fun. I trained folks. I held and led orientations with new employees and built training plans and fun stuff, right? However, during that layoff, I saw most of the recruiting team, they were there. Most of the organizational development team was out. Talent development out. So I had to actually sit back and do my own self-assessment of my skills and what direction I wanted to go in. Did I want to go into learning and development, where I had that experience of layoff and I had talked to multiple people that had been laid off or had trouble finding a training or learning and development type of job? Or that I want to move into an industry that had a higher demand. And specifically, tech recruiting was in more of a demand. Obviously, tech jobs are in demand. So, recruiting tech people would naturally be pretty in demand. So, I had to do that own self assessment. And something I did do was look at different job descriptions for some top companies. And I talked to folks in my field, of course, just to kind of make sure I was making the right move. And hey, I moved back to recruitment rather, and I went back into tech recruiting, just kind of seeing that experience and also seeing where the man was. And I equally enjoy recruiting and learning and development. And so I just went with, hey, this is more demand. So, and I'm going to be talking more about the high demand, low supply, and high supply, high demand type of scenarios in an upcoming video. So keep an eye out for that this week. And with that, oh, good, Amy. Thank you so much for saying it was helpful. I appreciate the feedback. I always love feedback. So I'm going to close everything out, and thank you, E. Dunlap, for your comment as well. I appreciate that. So hopefully you all have a great evening. I'm going to run, but I appreciate you all being here, and you lovely people have a great first week of the year. Hey, see you guys. Bye.